Amid uncertainty looming over the Naga political issue, Naga Students Federation expresses concern that the government of India's lack of commitment to solve the impending issue might turn out counterproductive. NSF demands Prime Ministerial level talks to solve the long pending issue. In an act of resentment, Shangha Chinyu village people withdraw their support to Pomching MLA Bowang Konyak. 34 households of the village resolve to withdraw their support, citing Konyak's poor performance and ineffective leadership for the past 10 years. Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha Nagaland unit briefs media about Union government's Agnipath scheme in Dimapur. BJYM officials highlight the details of recruitment drive and appeals youth to join Indian armed forces to serve the nation. With presidential elections for the country barely a month away, TMC Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee convenes a meeting in New Delhi aimed at forging a consensus for an opposition-backed candidate. Though Aam Aadmi Party and TRS skip the meet, leaders of 17 parties participate in the meeting. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi appears before Enforcement Directorate in the National Herald money laundering case for the third consecutive time. Rahul Gandhi questioned for over 25 hours since Monday when he was deposed before the ED investigators in the case for the first time. Hello and welcome to Nltv. You are watching the English Prime Time. I'm Chipen Krung. Let's look at the stories in detail. Amid the uncertainty looming over the Naga political issue, the Naga Students Federation has expressed concern by saying that the government of India's lack of commitment to solve the impending issue might turn out counterproductive. NSF, through a representation addressed to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, said that as per current scenario, the student body has the apprehension that worst will happen if the government of India fails to honor its commitment and exhibit its utmost sincerity by ensuring that the rights and dignity of the Naga people is upheld. Criticizing the center, NSF said that policies of the government of India to undo everything achieved through political negotiations has created distrust in the minds of the Naga people. The student body sent a message to the center by saying that Nagas today are looking forward to inherit the inclusive, honorable and acceptable solution. Further, it urged the Prime Minister to put a stop to the divisive role that is being played by the various agencies of the government of India, stating that such elements are deepening the crisis, stating that it would only lead to a fallout in the ongoing peace process. It requested Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take direct control of the situation in the same letter and spirit that the ceasefire and political talks were declared and initiated without any conditions and at the prime ministerial level. The 44 Assembly constituency of Shangha Chinyu village, Andamon district, withdrew their support to Advisor for Fire and Emergency Services SIRD Relief and Rehabilitation. Bowang Konyak, notably 34 households of the village, resolved to withdraw their support, citing Konyak's poor performance and ineffective leadership for the past 10 years under Chief Minister Nipuria's government. In addition, the villagers also mentioned that they will not extend support to Bowang Konyak for the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Following Prime Minister Narendra Modi's directive on Tuesday and Union Defence Ministry's announcement to recruit youth to serve in the armed forces as Agnivir under the new scheme called Agnipath, the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha Nagaland unit briefed media about the scheme in a press conference in Dimapur on Wednesday. Briefing the media, Nagaland BJYM President Hoshiro Awomi, National Executive Member and in charge of BJYM Meghalaya, Arvind Damani, along with other officials, elaborated details about the scheme which will allow the youth to serve the country through enrollment in Indian Armed Forces for a period of 4 years. It is worth mentioning that 46,000 Agniveers will be recruited through the scheme, notably based on merit and organizational recruitment requirement. Up to 25% Agniveers can be selected as regular Katra through a central, transparent, rigorous system after 4 years.
All aware, it is the Agnipath scheme. This is going to bring a transformational change in the country, in the way our armed forces will move forward in the future. It's going to be, if you allow me to use this word, our armed forces are going to be futuristic. There will be a balance between youth and experience. So this is going to provide the much needed change that the armed forces, the three services have been longing for. And responding to the calls, needs and desires of the armed forces, the Modi government has taken this bold decision, and we believe that in the days ahead the changes will already be seen. As you are all aware that the recruitment process for this scheme, particular scheme, Agnipath scheme, will commence immediately.
BJYM Nagaland press conference on Agnipath scheme. Shri Narendra Modi government announced yesterday an attractive scheme for Indian youths to serve in the armed forces. The scheme is called Agnipath, and the youths selected under this scheme will be known as Agniveers. Agnipath allows patriotic and motivated youth to serve in the armed forces for a period of 4 years. The Agnipath scheme has been designed
with the aim to facilitate a smooth flow of traffic and ease traffic congestion in Kohima town. The following traffic regulations for heavy vehicles will be enforced with immediate effect till further order. Entry of heavy vehicles into Kohima will be restricted from Kusama Interstate Police Check Gate from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. Entry of vehicles coming up towards Kohima from Dimapur side will be restricted from Chapru from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. And entry of vehicles, heavy vehicles into Kohima town will be restricted from bypass traffic police booth from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Heavy vehicles will be restricted to ply in Kohima town from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. A social development enthusiast and career social worker named Chambemu Batan has recently launched an app he developed that works similarly in the likeness of Amazon, Flipkart and other delivery apps. The app is called Brakadi Shil mobile app, which allows users to locate and request a delivery at his or her convenience. The launching program was held at the Dimapur Brakadi Shil Progressive Skill Development Institute. The special guest for the program was advisor and BJP national spokesperson Mohanlamo Kikon, accompanied by the new Deputy Commissioner of Dimapur, Sachin Jaiswal. Let us have a look at the report.
Services, the prices which are reflected here are just rough data as of now. So like one would need your phone number and email to register with this app, and then after that you can log in. I'm very sorry for the advanced tech savvy, our special guest included iPhone users, because it's only for Android as of now. we are yet to get onto the board with NIOS. So that's how you book. That's how you log in. We have the cash payment option as well as Razor Pay. No chances of getting duped. Nobody is gonna be charged extra, or like you make a payment for 1K and then the next morning you wake up and find that all the balance has gone down to zero. No. That's where the trust factor comes in. And yes, so we also have the option of even scheduling your appointment. If in case you're not free at around 11-12, you actually have the option of inviting or calling for the services at your own sweet time.
Oshiyim, the language village, was premiered on Tuesday at Town Hall, Mugukchung. The play Oshiyim was presented by Sangeet Natak Academy, New Delhi, in collaboration with Hill Theatre, Nagaland, and Department of Art and Culture, Government of Nagaland. Deputy Commissioner of Mugukchung, Shashank Pratap Singh, graced the occasion as the guest of honor. While addressing the audience, DC Mugukchung stated that theatre is a medium of expressing oneself, one's culture, and tribe. Resource person Jarumani Singh also explained that theatre is not an entertainment. It is what gives us an insight on one's indigenous culture, teaches us to preserve one's language, and thereby helps one to preserve one's culture. The play was directed by founder of Hill Theatre Nagaland and an alumnus of National School of Drama, New Delhi, Bendang Walling. Notably, Walling is also the director of the sophisticated series Dreams in Chaos.
This is the right time and right moment for us to realize that, our mother dialect, that is our own language, it represents our identity a lot. So now when it comes in this generation, starting from me, I would say that I'm also a victim of it. Because day by day, I cannot complete an our sentence also nowadays. Because I've been influenced by many dialects. So I firmly believe that maybe in the next 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, not only our, but most of our Naga dialect, either it might be our, Sema, Lotang, any kind of Naga dialect, it's going to get extinct very soon. So if you and I, if we don't try to preserve it, if we don't try to protect it, and then most importantly, if we don't try to practice it, then I believe that, we are going to live in a land where we don't have identity very soon. So, that is the concept that we brought over here.
Dimapur Minority Samaj on Tuesday organized a cricket tournament under the banner Minority Premier League Season 1. The tournament was organized in memory of late Bardalulaji Jain and Bimla Devi Jain. Notably, Advisor Power Department H. Dovihodo Ayami praised the occasion as the chief guest. Aye, while speaking on the occasion, appreciated non-local Samaj for their contribution to the society. Meanwhile, 10 Samaj, namely Brahman Jain, Bhojpuri, Bengali Muslim, Punjabi, Maheshwari, Agarwal, Bihari and Telugu Samaj took part in the tournament.
All of you, the generation laga kotha ase, ja manodu jai jese, kintu etia bachakana ase, bachalaga bachakana ase, generations of the generation, I cannot think yes. Kintu amar samaj, amar society ke banadu, apna laga contribution ki bishay ase. Now we see only 10 samaj here, but I am sure with this season 1, and I'm sure you will continue to organize such kind of events in different form, maybe a cultural kind of a exchange program or a sports program or any other activities where all communities, all samaj can come together. You please include those samaj who are not included this time, maybe because of short notice, because you all came to me yesterday only, which means ekdam jaldi baji they organize korise. But this is a very grand program, and this, I'm sure this event is being organized with a purpose and with a cause that you should come together as one. That oneness, that friendship, that unity, to have more understanding amongst the non-Naga communities in Dimapur. So it is ekdam bhal kotha ase. It is ekdam bhal concept ase. It is orne ami kobole mon thakadu. You please rob in the other communities also, and together we can do lot many things. So this is what I want to tell you. Dimapur is a commercial capital of Nagaland. Dimapur city is a blessed city, I feel, what I understand. Dimapur, on many occasions,
The Naga Students Federation submitted a representation to the Speaker of Nagaland Legislative Assembly, Sharingain Lungkumar, demanding immediate intervention on the extension of service of P.J. Anthony as the Principal Secretary of the Government of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly Secretariat. NSF in its representation questioned extension of service that ended on 31st of May this year. NSF pointed out that the move is overwriting the ban imposed by the state government on the extension of service and re-employment of government servants who have attained the age of superannuation on completion of 35 years of service. With incessant rain and severe flood situation, the Kamrup District Administration on Wednesday announced the closure of all educational institutions in Guwahati. In relation to this, Kamrup Deputy Commissioner Balav Kopal Jha stated that educational institutes, including both government and private, will remain closed as Weather Department alerted about the possibility of heavy rain in the city areas. However, DC added that examinations already scheduled will be conducted. Kamrup Metro District Administration in this matter urged the residents of Guwahati and nearby areas not to venture out unless absolutely necessary. An assistant commissioner of police, a rank officer of Guwahati Police, was injured in an alleged attack by Congress workers during the party's protest in Guwahati on Wednesday. It is worth mentioning that the Congress leaders and workers were protesting in Guwahati over the Enforcement Directorate's probe against Congress leader Rahul Gandhi in the National Herald money laundering case. During the protest in the party headquarters at Rajiv Bhawan, ACP Himanshu Das of Guwahati City Police sustained minor injuries. The Congress Satyagraha protest against what it claimed was the alleged misuse of the probe agencies by the centre began early on Monday. Sloganeering demonstrations and posters were seen at the party headquarters across the country.
कांग्रेस का स्तर धोना था राजीव भवन में, अगर राजीव भवन धोना था तो वहाँ में हम लोग अरेस्ट भी किया है। वहाँ में थोड़ा सा लग गया है, हमारा इधर में थोड़ा सा लग गया है। अभी हम ट्रीटमेंट किया है, फिलहाल यही है।
तो कोई ज़्यादा चोट आपको आई?
थोड़ा सा लगा, इधर में थोड़ा सा लगा है, ज़्यादा इतना नहीं है।
मेडिकल के लिए?
हाँ, मेडिकल कर लिया। कांग्रेस का स्तर धोना था राजीव भवन में अगर राजीव भवन होना था तो
Aam Aadmi Party, in an effort to restructure the organization ahead of polls, announced new office bearers for Tripura on Tuesday. Notably, the party appointed Abucham Umabara Luwang as state co-in-charge and Suman Laskar as state convener. Meanwhile, it may be noted that Tripura is slated to go on assembly polls next year. With presidential elections for the country slated for July 18, a meeting of opposition leaders called by Trinamool Congress Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to discuss a joint candidate for the upcoming poll was held in New Delhi on Wednesday. Leaders of 17 political parties, TMC, Congress, CBI, CPIM, CPI-ML, RSP, Shiv Sena, NCP, RJD, SP National Conference, PDP, JDS, DMK, RLD, IUML and JMM participated in the meeting held at the Constitution Club of India in the national capital. The Telangana Rashtra Samiti did not send a representative to the meeting convened by Mamata Banerjee and aimed at forging a consensus for an opposition-backed candidate. Further, Arvind Kejriwal-led Aam Aadmi Party also did not participate in the meeting, as the party is likely to consider the issue only after the candidate for the upcoming presidential election is declared. Banerjee had earlier written a letter to 22 leaders, including left parties, Congress President Sonia Gandhi and chief ministers of opposition-ruled states. The presidential election is slated to be held on July 18 and votes will be counted on July 21. The filing of nominations for the presidential elections began on Wednesday, with the Election Commission issuing a notification calling upon the electors to fill the vacancy. Notably, the election is scheduled to be held on July 18, whereby nominations can be filed until July 29, and scrutiny of papers will take place on June 30, with July 2nd decided as the last date for withdrawing from the electoral battle. In relation to this, the term of incumbent President Ramnath Kovind ends on July 24. Nagaland Pradesh Congress Committee on Wednesday at Congress Bhavan, Dimapur held a press conference expressing anger and anguish against the Enforcement Directorate for falsely accusing Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and questioning him for the last 3 days in matters related to money laundering and exchange of money. NPCC President K. Thierry, while addressing the press, clarified that the Election Commission of India has proven the allegations to be false and the matter was left there. But now the Enforcement Directorate, at the instance of the BJP government, is questioning Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who are part of the SEC 25 not-for-profit company. Thierry stated that the Enforcement Directorate has become a political tool for the BJP, and condemned the use of political agencies against political leaders as a political vendetta. Thierry also stated that while the ED accused Rahul Gandhi of non-cooperation, since there is no guilty conscience, Enforcement Directorate or the department will continue to get the same answers. Thierry also addressed the issue relating to Nagaland, whereby he stated that there is a blatant evidence of money laundering in the state, but they remain senseless. Thierry also added, saying that the nation has lost democracy, and stated that this is not the justice and equality citizens expect.
Sitting 25 hours with them. But even if I sit for 100 years with you and you are asking me something which I have not committed, I have not done, I'll continue to deny. And Rahul is a person who will not have any fear to commit something which he has not done. He has the blood whose ancestors have stood for the nation without fear
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Wednesday rejoined Enforcement Directorate's ongoing investigation in connection with an alleged money laundering case related to the National Herald newspaper for the third consecutive day. The Lok Sabha member from Wayanad in Kerala arrived at ED headquarters accompanied by his sister and Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Notably, till now, Rahul Gandhi has been questioned for over 25 hours since Monday, when he was deposed before the ED investigators in the case for the first time. As per reports, the Congress leader has been confronted with several documents collated by the ED as evidence recovered so far in this case to get his version. The Congress body on Wednesday accused the Bharatiya Janata Party government of denying its party workers from entering their party headquarters and trying to stop political activities. Congress warned that the BJP government that they would face consequences of their actions soon. Congress Chief Ministers Ashok Gehlot and Bhupesh Baghel commented that for the first time in the history of the world's biggest democracy, political party workers have been barred from entering their national party offices. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel slammed the BJP, saying that their nationalism is imported and whoever raises voice against the party is crushed. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot also commented that the last 8 years of BJP's governance would be marked as a black chapter in India's history. Congress party leaders condemned the act of the Enforcement Directorate for summoning Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi in the National Herald money laundering case, stating that it was a part of BJP's plan to unleash political vendetta against its political opponents.
पहले दिन 200 लोगों को अनुमति दी गई। कल कुछ नेताओं को ही अनुमति दी गई और आज तो हद हो गई कि हम अपनी स्टाफ को भी नहीं ला सकते। ये आईसीसी में स्टाफ अंदर नहीं आ पा रहा है, ऑफिस बेरर यहाँ ऑफिस नहीं आ पा रहे हैं। हम लोगों से कहा गया केवल 2 मुख्यमंत्री ही यहाँ आ पाएंगे और किसी को अनुमति नहीं है। किस प्रकार से पार्टी कार्यालय में हम लोग पहुंचे हैं, ये आप सब जानते हैं। ऐसी स्थिति कभी नहीं हुई थी। राजनीतिक दल अपने पार्टी कार्यालय में पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता न जा सके, ये हालात तो पहली बार। और ये स्थिति बनी क्यों? इसलिए कि देश में पिछले 8 वर्षों से जो कुछ हो रहा है, उस सबको एक व्यक्ति लगातार केंद्र सरकार के नाकामियों पे, उनके गलत इरादों पे, उनके गलत फैसलों पे उंगली रखते चल रहा है।
तो मोदी जी को मैं कहना चाहूंगा, आपको भगवान ने एक मौका दिया है प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनने का। आपकी ड्यूटी है कि आप सत्ता पक्ष में हैं और आप देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं। देश की जनता के साथ में ऐसा व्यवहार मत करवाओ सीबीआई से, इनकम टैक्स से, ईडी से, वरना देश आपको भी नहीं बख्शेगा। ये मैं कहना चाहूंगा।
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin condemned the Enforcement Directorate for grilling Congress leader Rahul Gandhi in connection to National Herald money laundering case. Chief Minister Stalin said that the action of the Enforcement Directorate is a political vendetta against the Gandhi family by the ruling BJP. CM Stalin also voiced out strongly against summoning of Congress interim president Sonia Gandhi by the ED in the same case. CM Stalin slammed the Bharatiya Janata Party for utilizing the Enforcement Directorate to entrap Congress party leaders in controversies. The Chief Minister further challenged the BJP to stop misusing the Enforcement Directorate and instead indulge in legal fights with political parties in the country. CM Stalin lashed out at the BJP government for resorting to such methods to run away from public ire over their failures. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday, approved the proposal to conduct a spectrum auction through which spectrum will be assigned to the successful bidders for providing 5G services to public and enterprises. A total of 72097.85 MHz of spectrum with a validity period of 20 years will be put on auction to be held by the end of July 2022. The auction will be held for spectrum in various low 600 MHz, 700 MHz, 800, 900, 1800, 2100 MHz, 2300 MHz, MIT 3300 MHz and high 26 GHz frequency bands. For the first time ever, there is no mandatory requirement to make upfront payment by the successful bidders. Payment for spectrum can be made in 20 equal annual installments to be paid in advance at the beginning of each year. The bidders would be given an option to surrender the spectrum after 10 years with no future liabilities with respect to balance installments. According to the center, 80 crore subscribers have access to broadband today compared to 10 crore subscribers in 2014. The 4G ecosystem created in the country is now leading to 5G indigenous development. The 5G test bed set up in 8 top technology institutes of India is speeding up the launch of domestic 5G technology in India. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Wednesday criticized the Agnipath scheme of short-term recruitment into the armed forces, saying that the scheme reduces operational effectiveness of the forces. Rahul Gandhi in his tweet stated that India faces threats on two fronts and the BJP government must stop compromising their dignity, traditions, valor and the discipline of India's armed forces. This comes on a day when there are already protests in Bihar by aspirants who have called the scheme a ploy to fool young people. The protesters blocked a highway in Muzaffarpur and railway tracks in Buxar. On Tuesday, hours after the announcement of the scheme, Congress leader and Chhattisgarh Minister T.S. Singhdeo had also stated that defense services and national security are being toyed with. As the law and order situation in Uttar Pradesh deteriorates following BJP's leader's controversial remarks against Prophet Muhammad, former Supreme Court and High Court judges, along with senior advocates, on Tuesday submitted a petition to Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana. In the petition, the group urged the Chief Justice of India to take suo motu cognizance of the demolition drives that have been taking place in several parts of Uttar Pradesh. The petitioners penned to the CJI stating that Uttar Pradesh government, instead of giving opportunity to the protesters, has resorted to violent steps to tame the atmosphere. The petitioners accused the Uttar Pradesh administration of unlawful torture and harassment. In the petition, it was written that Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's directives have emboldened the administration and police to resort to violent ways to subdue protesters. Several videos have been going viral on social media in which Muslim youth can be seen bashed up mercilessly by the police and homes of protesters being demolished. The petitioners stated that such acts of atrocities have shaken the conscience of the nation. The petitioners further accused the BJP or the UP administration of suppressing the laws and rights of common people. The petitioners also urged the CJI and the Supreme Court to intervene in the matter so that public and constitution are not let down. In the ongoing investigation into the Salman Khan threat letter case, the Maharashtra Home Department on Wednesday said that Lawrence Bishnoi's gang is behind the act. Maharashtra Home Department went on to say that the reason behind the Bishnoi gang threatening actor Salman Khan and his father Salim Khan was to create an atmosphere to show their presence and power. Moreover, the gang was preparing to extort money from big businessmen and actors. It is worth mentioning that just days after the death of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala, popular Bollywood actor Salman Khan and his father received a death threat. Father Salim Khan's security team found the letter outside their Mumbai home near the Bandra Bandstand promenade, where Salim Khan goes for his routine morning jog. Meanwhile, Punjab police brought gangster Lawrence Bishnoi to Punjab under heavy security to the state from police in the early hours of Wednesday to question him in the singer Sidhu Moosewala's murder case. Bishnoi was produced before a court in Mansa district, which remanded him to 7 days of police custody. Earlier, a Delhi court on Tuesday granted Punjab police the transit remand of Bishnoi to take him to Punjab in the case related to the singer and Congress leader Moosewala's murder. The Delhi court has passed the order as Punjab police produced Bishnoi before it formally arresting him in the case.
करेंगे तो पता लग ही जाएगा। सलमान खान का करेंगे, मारेंगे या जोधपुर में मारेंगे तो पता लग जाएगा इनको। अभी तो मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं, बिना मतलब कोई इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं। ये बात
In yet another unfortunate accident, 6 people died and 15 others were injured on Tuesday in Badaun, Uttar Pradesh. The accident took place after a tractor trolley carrying devotees was hit by a medium-duty truck from behind. Notably, the passengers were returning from Gachla Khat after taking a bath in the river Ganga. It may be mentioned that the injured have been admitted to the government medical college. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath expressed condolences over the death and further hoped for quick recovery of the injured victims. India's ace javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra, with a throw of 89.30 meters at the Paavo Nurmi Games in Finland, set a new national record. Notably, Chopra's earlier national record was 88.07 meters, which he had set in Patiala in March 2021. It may also be mentioned that Chopra won the Tokyo Olympics gold with a throw of 87.58 meters. Meanwhile, Finland's Oliver Helander won the gold medal at the event with a throw of 89.83 meters. India, Israel, and the UAE and the United States are all set to take part in the first ever I2U2 virtual summit from July 13 to 16. The Biden administration aims at re-energizing and revitalizing the American alliances around the world through the summit. Reportedly, discussions on food security crisis and other areas of cooperation would take place during the summit. Officials informed that the Biden administration is genuinely interested in deepening trade and economic ties between Israel and the UAE. The United States President Joe Biden will travel to the Middle East region, during which he will stop in Israel, the West Bank and Saudi Arabia. According to the White House, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, US President Joe Biden, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and the UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan will be attending the virtual summit. And that brings us to the end of Nltv English Primetime. Thank you for tuning in. This is Chipen Kung signing off.
New YY Dynamite Instant Noodles. It's extra spicy. Taste that will blow your mind.